Why do RAW files contain more data than JPEGs? Imagine capturing a scene with perfect detail and color, but then losing much of that information when saving the image. That's what happens with different file formats. When you take a photo, your camera's sensor records all the light and color it sees. RAW files store this data exactly as captured, without any changes or compression. JPEGs, on the other hand, go through a process that reduces the file size by discarding some of this information. This difference is why RAW files contain more data. RAW files are like a digital negative. They keep every bit of light and color information from the sensor. This means they hold the full dynamic range, which is the difference between the darkest shadows and the brightest highlights. They also have a higher bit depth, usually 12 or 14 bits per color channel, compared to JPEGs, which are typically 8 bits per channel. Higher bit depth allows for more subtle gradations in color and brightness, making editing easier and more precise. When you shoot in RAW, your camera does not apply any in-camera adjustments like contrast, sharpening, or white balance. It simply records what the sensor sees. This gives you maximum control during post-processing, allowing you to recover details in shadows or highlights that might be lost in JPEGs. JPEG files are processed inside the camera before saving. The camera applies adjustments and then compresses the image using a lossy algorithm. This compression reduces the file size but also discards some of the original data, which limits how much you can edit later. Because RAW files keep all this in-process data, they tend to be much larger than JPEGs. For example, a 20 megabyte RAW file from a 24 megapixel camera might be 5 times larger than a 10 megabyte JPEG from the same camera. This larger size means RAW files requiring more storage space and more powerful computers to process efficiently. From a workflow perspective, RAW files are ideal for professional photographers or anyone wanting the best possible image quality. They give you the flexibility to adjust exposure, white balance, and other settings after shooting without degrading the image. JPEGs are more convenient for quick sharing or when storage space and speed are more important. They are smaller, easier to upload, and ready to use immediately, but they offer less room for editing. In summary, RAW files contain more data because they preserve all the in-process sensor information with higher color depth and dynamic range. This makes them perfect for detailed editing and high-quality prints, but they do take up more space and requiring more processing. JPEGs sacrifice some of that data to keep files smaller and easier to handle, making them suitable for everyday use.